Grand setting. It's been a long time since I made one of these videos. Okay. Every time I light a candle, I first be in my heart, and I forgot about that. It's not simple. If you light a candle from a calm state, the influence of the candle becomes different, right? And it is important for your candle, depending if the stage of the candle, how it is, it might be different, but it's coming okay. It's coming all right. So, you know what? Without wasting time, I want us to talk about reversal in terms of walking in your yard, right? I talked about this on my TikTok channel, and I wanted to explore and go even deep, but I thought that I should make this video here. I have so many topics that I need to talk about, so many things that will make you be on a different level spiritually, right? It's all about overcoming the subconscious mind, having to go there and understand what really transpires there and have a hang of it, so that every download you need from the subconscious mind, it can be well alive in your conscious level, right? So I said it on my TikTok channel that the information about walking in reverse, I have lots of it, but I told myself that let me do it again, because we are in a different timelines interacting with those timelines, and therefore there's some information that will be completely different from the one that I already know in terms of walking in a reverse field, right? I don't like calling it a reverse field, but I think it sounds a bit smart. You know, sometimes I like being smart. So walking in a reverse field, right? Just getting my honey, just want to drink some tea. Walking in a reverse field, I'd like to look at it as defining gravity, right? Defining gravity in a sense that you don't really become normal, right? It's more like synthetic, right? It's more like you becoming synthetic in order for you to get a hang of a specific energy that can be so explosive within you that you open up into a different virtual reality, right? So it's more like a synthetic thing. It's not normal. And just because I'm saying that it's not normal, I'm not saying that it's not natural. It is natural, right? But it is not normal. It is synthetic. It means that when you start to walk in a reverse motion, this is something you have to keep up with and keep on doing it until you finally understand what you were doing in order for you not to be tapped in, right? And when I was doing it again, I realized that with the current energies that are happening in this world, I tapped into a different reality, right? But normally, when you start walking in a reverse motion, you have to spend much time in it, in a sense that instantly, the moment you stand still, something needs to happen around you. It has both similarities when you start to spin clockwise and counterclockwise. Then you start to be dizzy, right? And I guess this is something, growing up as a child, everybody has been doing, spinning around, you know, because you were, this was like a mystery to you. You wanted to understand what was happening, but you had it in you, in your subconscious mind, that it was leading you, or the energies in your guide inside that were like literally letting you know of those things that are so powerful. And this forces you, okay, not force you, but it influences you to tap into a different space other people are unable to do, right? So growing up as a child, you used to like spin clockwise, counterclockwise so many times, or you'd actually would want to play with things that actually put you in that motion. And most of the time, you'd literally like take off your shoes and start walking in a reverse. I remember, okay, to put it, you would actually remember that your parents would tell you stop doing that, and your parents didn't know why you were doing it, right? So your parents would like reprimand you, stop walking like that or stop spinning around. You'll go mad or crazy. And you felt it and you told yourself, okay, I don't want to go crazy. Let me stop doing what I'm doing because my parents are telling me not to do it. Then you stopped, right? So, this is it is natural but not normal, because when people look at it, they'll think that there's something wrong with you. But it is more like a synthetic thing you have to do and produce in order for you to master that specific element of an energy, right? So when you start walking in a reverse motion, let's say you're doing it outside your yard because you can't do it in the house, right? Let's say you have a wall fence, people can't see you, because when people think that, they'll ask themselves, what are you doing? They'll think that you're crazy, right? Even if you do this where it's isolated, it might be at a park, forest, where you can be alone. You start to project that idea of walking in reverse. You're going up, downwards. The moment you reach a certain limitation, it might be a wall, then you turn around. When you reverse again, you're doing it in a reverse field, right? You realize that if you keep on doing it up and down, up and down, up and down, well, in order for you to feel this, that's why I'm saying that in order for you to feel this, at least you have to start walking in that reverse 30 to an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, right? 30 minutes to an hour. Let's say you choose to do it for 30 minutes, right? Give yourself some time. Let me do it for like 30 minutes. No problem. The moment the 30 minutes has passed, or in the mid of the 30 minutes, let's say maybe in 15 minutes, you're walking across in reverse non-stop, you stand still. The moment you stand still, this happens. To some of you, it might be very interesting. Some of you, it might be something you've actually done before, but you never thought that I should actually go move forward with it, right? The first thing is, the first thing you do, right? You're defining the different side of a gravity, right? And you start to see that when you look up into the sky, the clouds, you realize that the clouds now are moving in a fast motion, and they're so quick, they're coming toward you. You get what I'm saying? They're coming toward you. And when you start to look at the wall, right, you face the wall, you're still standing in the same motion. You're not moving an inch. You will realize that now everything is actually coming and being drawn to you. And not only that, while you're still standing, because now you're witnessing what's happening, you start to realize that everything is coming to you. It might be a house, whatever that is an object, whatever that is that's around you at that time. It starts to actually come to you like that. And the moment when you're still paying attention, because you're standing still, you will realize that there's a magnetic field, the magnetic field that's actually pulling you back. Because remember, already now your mind is programmed and prone to walk in a reverse. And now it's influencing you in a sense that you need to continue doing what you're doing, because it is actually positive and good. Then you realize that, because there will come a time whereby you'll try to force yourself to stand still, you should just let go. You'll realize that you'll keep on moving in reverse, right? You'll realize that you'll keep on moving in reverse. And the moment, instantly in your mind, this is resetting something inside of you. I'm telling you, it is resetting your mind. It is resetting the way you think, the way you see things, the way you project ideas and reality around you. And instantly it makes you to tap into this virtual reality on its own. You're not meditating. You're not actually getting into your mind like that. It's just happening on its own, right? It produces these chemicals inside of you, inside of your brain, and you start to actually feel a different way. I'm telling you. And the more, like, this thing is like a drug at some point. The way it's so exciting when you keep on doing it, right? Because like, not focusing on the fact that it is actually projecting this expansion of an awakening within your brain, within your body. You start to want to more of it, right? I'm telling you, you start to want to have more of this motion. You want to feel it, and you at some point you don't even want to stop doing it. It's so fun. Like this thing, when you're having an intimacy with your partner and you go through orgasm, that's how you feel like it when you start walking in a reverse field, right? You start to feel like that. It becomes so difficult for you to stop. That's why I would actually advise you, if you're going to be in depth and go deeper in the sense of walking in this reverse field, I would advise you that you want to have somebody watching you at that time so that they can actually, do this and bring you into this reality. Because instantly, I'm telling you, you know what, try this. And you see what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, it's very rare that you might actually find it in a book, because I do not read any book, right? I don't read books. I don't need to, I came like this, but besides that, it's still interesting for me to tap into different realities of the current state of the frequencies and the vibration energies, what's really happening and transpiring. So instantly, when you start to feel the type of way that you don't want to stop, already now you're interacting with different timelines. But these timelines, you personally, you can be able to understand where you were at that time, because you can be existing in this reality, but being in the multiple realities. Because I said this before, that the way you have different realities in different planetary systems, it is destined for you to understand and collect all of those consciousness, which is also a reflection of the ancestors, which are the Hall of Fame. When you start to ignite and connect all of these Hall of Fame ancestors, which together, when they are connected, they become supreme, they make up the God inside of you, your higher self, right? It's more like now when you start to work in reverse, you're interacting with different bodies, right? Because you have so many multiple bodies, they're not here only. But the reason why you're not actually connecting with these bodies, you're not actually defining things that you have to, because it's like, it's natural, right? It's not normal, but yet synthetic. When you start to define some laws, which you are meant to do that in order for you to be able to understand what's really happening, or the reality that you live in, for you to be able to master it, that's when now you start to interact with these different bodies, right? And these bodies can only be felt by you, nobody else. That is why sometimes you feel like you're here, but your other part of your body is in Neptune or different planetary systems, right? So the moment you start walking in the reverse field, you become so interested what's really happening in me, because now you realize that you've missed so much great that's inside of you, but you've been spending time doing things in this world, like working, because you think in your mind that you came here to work to fulfill your dreams, which are accustomed and created by the system. They're not literally like your dreams and all of that, So you keep on walking in a reverse field. You reverse field. You don't want to stop. You can't really explain it, but the moment you come back into this reality, what happens is you have been studying great ancient information you've always been connected to. Why am I telling you this? I'm opening you in a different reality, that you can be able to tap into a sacred information without really working so hard. Because, time is moving fast, and so many things that are happening, some don't really have time to go in a deeper state of a meditation. I always try to find easy ways for you to tap into your higher self and be in tune. And one of the reasons why I'm telling you about this is that it will actually work greatly for a lot of you, right? Because the way you study or understand information, it will not always be the same. But me having to talk about this and bring this to life, I definitely know that somebody's going to actually tap into it way greater. And they start to interact with their higher self from a different level and start to merge themselves and their conscious bodies in a different expression, right? So that's why I'm telling you this. But it goes even deeper. It goes even deeper. So you come to a point whereby when you start to see everything coming to you, because like in a way and a sense, you are attracting things into your reality. Because everything is coming to you. You start to realize that everything that they've been telling you has always been a lie. You start to project the idea and understand, because I could tell you that the planet is upside down. You won't actually understand me. So having to come up with this to tell you how to do it, you'll start to understand that yes, the world is actually upside down. And everything that you've been told is not actually the truth, right? Or everything that's actually been written in the books is not actually the truth. So you start to realize that the world is upside down. And instead of me having to run after things, you start to understand this reality of energy that is actually coming to you. That's why I'm saying that when you do it in a 30 minutes reaction or an hour, you start to see that you're pulling things to yourself. And when you try to stand still, you'll even try, like this will happen on its own. You will become in a reverse field. You'll start to move in a reverse field, right? Because now you're just doing this, reprogramming your mind. You are reprogramming your mind. You are resetting your body at that time. I'm telling you, when I was doing this, because it's been a long time since I did it, because I haven't had really time to do things that I know that I'm supposed to teach you, so that I can actually keep on testing them if there's things are the same or different. When I was doing it, I think it was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Yesterday was yesterday. What's the date today? I don't know. I always forget about the calendar and time. I don't really pay attention. I can't even keep up with time. I can keep up with time, but I don't, because I don't want to keep on constantly reminding myself that I'm under time. Time ages you so quick and all of that. But when I was doing it yesterday, right, which is actually one of the same day, a pigeon got hypnotized, because it was like I wanted to take a video of this, but I felt like maybe this pigeon is distracting me. It could be AI, a secret intelligence, or it could be a normal pigeon. So I didn't want to stop and start creating a video so that I can actually come out here and tell you. So it's up to you whether or not you believe me. But I realized that when I was going in motion, because when you walk in this reverse field, you don't close your eyes. You must open your eyes. Or what I'm telling you, it won't work. But you can go as deep as actually closing your eyes once you start to master it properly. So I like paying attention, I'm walking in reverse. I'm going up and down outside the yard. I'm going up and down outside the yard. Okay, now I'm paying attention. There's a pigeon looking at me, right? I'm like, okay, the pigeon is looking at me. Why? I keep on going up and down, up and down, up and down, to the point that the pigeon now was in a statue, looking at me, walking up and down. For like half an hour, I saw that. And the pigeon was like walking with me in the motion, like it was hypnotized. It was really amazing, like it was hypnotized, walking with me in emotion. And at that time, because it's easy for me to tap into information or interact, how is the other party of the animal feeling like if it's actually glazing on me? I realized that my energy now is from a different field. I'm no longer in this reality. Hence, that is why the pigeon was paying close attention to me, right? It was like more hypnotized. At some point, I personally think that the pigeon wanted to actually do what I was doing, because it was fascinating and so much interesting. right? So I'm going up and down, up and down, up and down. The pigeon is literally like in a statue, but the head is moving. It's trying to see me with the eye on the other side, as I keep on moving up and down. And I was like, what the hell is happening, right? That's when I realized that, to me, it was evident enough that instead of, not erasing the effort of you imagining things in order for you to manifest things and start to become a magnetic field. At that time, when I was working in a reverse field nonstop, it means that I activated the magnetic field physically like that to be in tune on the high level. Hence, that is why when you stop in a minute, in 30 minutes or so, you start to realize that everything is coming to you, right? You start to realize that everything is coming to you. Everything, I'm telling you, everything from the sky, whatever that is in the natural sense, trees, they were like moving, but not to say that there were no trees and now they are. If you are around and surrounded by trees, you'll start to see that everything is actually projecting to be attracted to you by just standing still. It's like everything is coming in different side. It's actually coming to you. The moment you realize that with your eyes, you start to see that everything is actually moving in a motion toward you. And I was like, okay, the same reaction is still there. There's nothing that has changed with it. And this gave me motivation that, okay, let me go out there now and tell people about this. It's really mysterious because when you keep on doing it in that sense, your mind becomes opened. And when it becomes open, you start to be connected to the Akashic records, information that is inside of you. This information is already inside of you, but now it's like reaching out to you for you to have this expanding field. Then for some reason, you start to have some great communication within you, and you start to realize all the secrets of the world and the universe by just standing and walking in a reverse field. But in order for you to project and connect to that information, you need to stand still. When you have walked at least 15 to 30 minutes to an hour, then now you're pulling all the information within. You're pulling all the information within, right? You're pulling all the information within. All information is coming to you. All information is coming to you, but it's not outside of you, it's inside of you. The evidence for you to see and witness this is when you see everything around you coming to you, right? And that's when now this starts to be exposed that the world is just an image. Hence, that is why in order for you, we're in a simulation, virtual reality, right? The world is a form of an image. Hence, that is why in order for you to attract something, now I'm moving too fast. In order for you now to start to project the reality of understanding how you can influence things with your mind by instantly turning yourself into a magnetic field, you have to imagine it first, right? Then when you start to imagine it, because it is like you go through imagination. Imaginary is an image. So when you start to create an image you want to see happen in your life, it's more like absorbing into that and creating it. So this is evidence that the simulation we live in, it is manipulated because it allows us to, because the whole entire planet is an image. In order for you to create something, you need to picture a different image in order for you to start to attract it and become a magnetic field, right? Then when you change all of that, you can be able to attract anything you want. So this is evident that the whole entire planet is an image. Therefore, when you start to walk in a reverse field and you stand in one motion, you start to see all of these images coming to you, right? Coming to you. And here's the very interesting thing, which it can be a mystery to you when I tell you that all of these images, when they come to you, they come in a sense of a vortex, motion that, when something is spinning in a vortex, it becomes so tiny that when you get into it, you start to actually be in this different world or system, right? Because each and every planet in this world, or planets that are around us, they stem from a vortex motion. That is why you look at the trees and everything that's happening in this world. It's very primitive for them to actually be in a counterclockwise motion. If it starts to be in a clockwise motion, everybody and all life could actually die in this world. So it tells you that everything that's actually spiraling from a counterclockwise vortex, that's where now you find a certain geometry pattern in order for you to find yourself in different timelines or manipulate that to be in a different virtual reality or different world or planetary system, right? And every time when it does this, it's more like all of these image that are around you, they are creating the system. And in order for you to understand now, you feel like everything is actually coming to you. Yes, when you look at it outside of you, you won't see it in a counterclockwise vortex. But if you were to pay attention, or whenever it actually now comes through inside of you, you realize that it's not actually even real, right? It's not real at all. It's just a motion of an image that is expressing itself in a vortex, right? It could be in a counterclockwise or clockwise way, but it's something which is natural, not normal, yet synthetic when it comes to your mind, when you start now to actually project this reality and walking in a reverse field. What happens when time goes on, when you look at the wall, which is something that I also realized, and I said that I'll let you know about this, is that this will instantly even open a portal. I'm afraid that some of you might actually do it too much, that instantly you open a portal in front of you, because when you start to walk in a reverse field, the wall starts to change. And you know, when a portal starts to open, you start to see, to you it could be moving counterclockwise or clockwise way, but it's not moving away from you, it's moving toward you. Then it could be that when it reaches you, if you went in this motion in a deeper state, you might actually even open a portal right in front of you or through a wall and start to walk in it, right? But in this case, I don't think that it like you'll actually be motivated to walk through it, because at that time, when you stand still, you'll start to actually move in a reverse field, right? But should you force yourself, when the portal opens, you walk into it, you might actually even disappear or be in a different sense. Or if you disappear, you find yourself in the same planetary system, but in a different timeline. Because all of this, it actually pushes you to experience a different timeline instantly. Hence, that is why I'm saying that when everything is actually being pulled toward you, now you start to actually gain information, sacred information, not just any information, sacred information that I'm telling you, it'll be like you were just reading a book. I'm telling you, it'll be like you were just reading a book, because instantly when you start to connect with the higher planes and dimensions, most of the time it comes with information. And when you come back from that timeline, you come back with an education within your mind, which when time goes on, it won't actually be open and plain to you, but you start to realize things after you do that, because you were interacting with a different timeline. Because it's like when you go to a timeline or a different dimension, the time there is different. You could be going for like an hour only to find out that you spent like 500 years there. You spend 500 years, and within that 500 years, you learned so many things in a short span of time. And because all of it is natural, you connecting with it in a synthetic way, all of this information gets to be downloaded inside of you instantly like that. Then the moment you come back into this reality, you know things, you can never explain how you know them, but you were able to actually connect to them. See, what I'm telling you is way greater than you having to open your first eye, your chakras, in order for you to connect with this information. I personally think that sometimes we complicate this information that's really there in front of us. And what I personally think that it confuses a lot of people is the books, because one thing I don't like about books is that you don't really test yourself how far you could actually go. You are going to be attuned according to what the book has told you. But when you become natural, right, you start to be abnormal, yes, but synthetic. Now you're starting to push yourself even more over and beyond. You're thinking more than anything, more than the universe, more than the planets, more than the water, more than all the elements, more than the energy of God, right? You are going above and high. And that's what I'm teaching you. Anybody can do this. You'll start to interact with different timelines and information will start to come to you, right? Now, another thing that was fascinating, you could think that what is above is below. Okay, that's what's been said, and that's the truth. The reason why they say it in that sense, there's no above and there's no below, right? All of it is just the same. But there's this motion that they talk about, the gravity that when you throw something up in the sky, it goes down. The gravity can't be defined, and that is all a lie. And another thing, you could think that the sky is above, only to realize that the sky is right in front of you, or behind you, or on different sides. Because in reality, from a perspective of ascended mastery teachings, right, which I know is that left, or north, east, west, south, left, right, front, behind, up, down, it does not exist. It's not even there at all. I know some of you won't understand this, especially if you went to school and you learn it, because when you have those degrees, those diplomas, what they're teaching you is to your mind to be concrete, and you are living in the aspects of a logic mind. So it becomes difficult for you to understand anything from a spiritual value. Especially you get people saying that show us proof evidence. People like that, they are prone to ask you those questions, which I don't have a problem with it, because they're living from the logic side of their mind. But if they were to be connected in the right side of their brain, they'll start to actually interact with what I'm actually talking about. So it might actually be difficult for some of you to understand what I'm saying. But in an ascended mastery level, all ascended masters, they know this, right? If you claim that you're an ascended master and you're saying that there is above, there's below, there's north, east, west, no, unfortunately, you've not actually surpassed the understanding of what's really happening around you, right? All ascended masters, they know that there's no such thing as above, below, left, right, or whatever you want to call it. It's not there. So when you start to work in the reverse field, this starts to actually open up. You won't be able to explain it, but the inner standing within, you'll start to realize what's really happening, where you at, what's really going on, right? And now the gravity is being defined in different ways. It's being defined in different, because that's what I'm saying, that you might actually think that the sky is above, only to find out that the sky is right in front of you. You might think that the sky is right in front of you, only to find out that the sky is behind you. You might think that the sky is above, only to find out that the sky is below. And the moment you start to understand that pattern, you realize that now you're interacting with the geometric pattern in a different shape, in order for you to be able to absorb energy and convert it into information, in order for you to understand what's really happening around you. You get what I'm saying? Right? All of this, you start to understand it through what? Reverse field. Walking in reverse. Right? Walking in reverse. So I said that in the beginning of the video that the world is upside down. And sometimes, in order for you to really get it from that level, you have to start walking in a reverse field. So naturally, if I were to tell you, the planet is moving forward, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But in a natural way, everybody in this world, or everything was supposed to be done in a reverse field. We shouldn't be moving forward with the planet. And when I talk about reverse, I'm not saying that you're reversing things. No, it has nothing to do with that, right? It's just a complex way of actually putting it. As the world is moving forward, we have to walk in a reverse field. When we walk in a reverse field, this affects us positively and greatly. And then we start to actually control the whole entire planetary system and everything to actually come toward us, instead of us pushing it away from us. Now you're not on, because when you start to move forward with the earth, you're pushing everything away from you. That is why at some point it becomes too difficult for you to understand this world. or the simulation. That is why sometimes it becomes difficult for you to understand how to project the reality of manifesting things into your reality, because you're moving in a forward motion and therefore you're pushing everything away from you. But when you start to walk in a reverse field, now you're interacting with what is it that you have to understand from a synthetic position for you to grasp the idea what's really happening in this world. And now you start to actually pull things toward yourself. And when they come to you, you start to actually connect with different timelines at will. Because now you project all of this reality to come to you. It follows you. Instantly, you're turning yourself into a magnetic field without actually even thinking so hard about it or stressing about it, right? You're projecting yourself and turning yourself in a magnetic field. Everything now is coming toward you. You're standing in one position. I feel like somebody might think that I'm crazy because I'm going too deep with this and it might be a bit confusing to some of you. Right? Everything is coming to you now. Already you're in a different level. Right? You're in a different level. You're in a different space. And I'm telling you, when you start doing this, that's why I'm saying that if that is what I'm saying to you, if you get interested in doing this thing for too long, have somebody watching you. It might be a family member, somebody who's going to understand what you're doing, right? Have somebody watching you, right? Because I'm telling you, this thing is so fun. You won't stop. You know, what I realized when you start to do this thing in this timeline, first of all stress goes away. Everything that is bad that you think about, it goes away. And because now the mechanism of it makes you want to even drive more into it and non-stop. So what I'm saying is you could do this you could do this thing the whole day. And it has got some great benefit, including the muscle at the back of your body. It starts to actually become different, right? It becomes like it gets to be shaped in a different, like this is more like an exercise as well. This is more like an exercise at some point, right? Which literally will improve your muscles, right? But the fun of it, once you start doing it, you won't want to stop doing. I'm telling you. You want to keep on going on and on and on and on and on, because at that time, when you go in a deep state of it, you're no longer in this world. You're in a different reality. And the more you keep on realizing what's happening, this is what I really loved about it. The more you keep on realizing what's happening, all information is coming toward you. All information is coming toward you, which I plan to go in a deeper state that I project this reality. How will it be like if you start to manifest things that you want to see happen in your life? Because when I do it, I go inside of my heart. That is what I'm saying. Now doing it is totally different from what I've known it to be at first when I did it. Right? At first when I did it, it has become very different, because now when I was doing it, I was inside of my heart, right? I was inside of my heart when I did it, you know? I was inside of my heart when I did it, and it was even more fun. Like you turn all of that, the reality that you're in and everything that is around you, you place it inside of your heart. You move from that motion, right? When you move from that motion, it takes you even to a higher state of a consciousness, right? Now it's more like overcoming the barriers of your subconscious mind and taking everything that's been trapped within the subconscious mind at will by you. It's not being trapped because it needs to be trapped. It's trapped by you because you don't know how to interact with the subconscious mind. The moment you start to work in a reverse field inside of your heart, your subconscious mind now pulls everything and pulls it toward your conscious mind, that you start to be educated by who? Yourself. That's when now you activate the self-teaching that's inside of you, not without. Then you start to like, then you start to speak in a different language people will never be able to understand. But whatever that you say will be like a mystery because they will be having this sudden interest to connect to what is it that you actually have connected to, right? You have connected to. So you open this field and your mind becomes, I'm telling you, your mind becomes, right? Your mind becomes, and if you stuck in your heart while doing it, your negative polarity in your mind that is connected to your heart, it becomes pure and positive. That when you understand what's happening in your mind, it will be expressed within your heart. And because your heart is closer to your Akashic records, right? That's when now you start to release the chemical of that information, which is energy, but converting it into information when you start to understand yourself from that perspective and point of view, right? Then you start to actually be in the space and all information comes inside of you. It's not outside of you. It comes inside of you though, but it's not outside of you. It is within you. Because remember, everything is an expression. Whatever that's outside of you is inside of you. But in order for you to be able to see it as evident, you start to feel it come inside of you. That is why I'm saying that when you start to open your eyes, that's why I'm saying that when you start to stand still, after opening your eyes, going up and down, you start to see everything moving toward you, right? And you realize that the longer I'm standing, I feel like there's something pulling me back because I have programmed my mind to work in a reverse field, right? I have programmed my mind to work in a reverse field. And I personally think that there's a lot that happens in that space. And most of it is repelling negative energy. Because working in a reverse, it is no different than when you have to start moving in clockwise and counterclockwise body. Because instantly when you start to move clockwise with your body, counterclockwise and clockwise, there's something that happens within your whole entire body, especially your mind, right? Especially your mind. And when you do that instantly, if you feel like there's a heaviness of energy or somebody's actually attacking you, what usually this does is repel negative energies away from you. Because I'll make a small example. When somebody is performing witchcraft, from which motion do they actually start to create that herb and call your name? They do this, right? They do this, which is what? Counterclockwise way, right? They're doing this. They're using the masculine energy force to attack you. You know, they're using the masculine. It's never like this. It's never like this that much. It's usually like this, right? It's usually like this. That is a vortex field being created, right? And this person is calling your name while they're doing it, is calling your name. And the moment they take it outside or whatever that they're going to do the next, the memory is in a vortex counterclockwise way. Then the moment they do the last bidding of witchcraft or whatever as an alchemist, right? When that energy comes to you, it comes in a counterclockwise way. But before it does that, it turns into a Google. It needs to research because remember, you've got an aura. Whatever that is that's been attacked, it doesn't go to you instantly. It must first look for a loophole. Hence, that is why it will go in a counterclockwise way. It'll start to spin around you. Then most of the time you feel like, okay, you're feeling dizzy or there's something wrong with you. I'm making an example. Not to say that every time you feel dizzy, somebody's attacking. I'm just making an example. There's so many ways that will actually make you feel dizzy, right? Then you start to feel like there's something around me. Why? Whatever magic or potion they have actually put on you or curse is trying to look for a loophole around your body because your aura does have a loophole. And this loophole is tiny like a needle. I'm telling you, it's tiny like a needle. It's more like an exercise of dimensions and planetary systems, right? Then if it actually finds a loophole in your aura, whatever the curse that actually they're throwing at you, it goes through that loophole. Then it starts to affect you like a poison. But the moment when you start to move in a counterclockwise way and clockwise way, you're repelling all of that energy. Then it has no power and effect inside of you. Which is why it's very important for you to strengthen your aura at times, you know. It's very important for you to strengthen your aura. So that's why I'm actually explaining that all of these things, the reverse field, spinning clockwise and counterclockwise, it also repels energy, right? It also repels energy, even in the sense of a thought. When somebody is throwing a curse on you or wishing you bad, it doesn't really come from the heart. The heart doesn't have an evil space, I'm telling you. It doesn't. A lot of people think that when they do things from their heart, they think they're actually doing it from, no, you're not doing it from your heart. The heart doesn't have that. When you do things from a negative aspect, it comes from your mind, which is the right side of your brain, the magic mind, the imagination mind. You use imagination from the right side of your mind, not the logic mind, right? Then when you start to put a curse on somebody, that energy turns into a counterclockwise vortex. Then it spins like this, going to a person. It goes in that motion. Then it attacks. But if you are able to repel it by moving clockwise and counterclockwise, it has no power inside of you because it's just an energy being sent. So that energy doesn't really come from the heart. It comes from the mind, because the mind has a polarity that stems from negativity. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just teaching the basics on this. I want to go hard on this topic. I can speak the whole day about this. But I just wanted to teach you the basics. It will be like a mystery. And I know that some of you might not actually understand what I'm saying. Believe me. But I'm saying to you, do it. Start exercising this, right? Give yourself some time. I'm going to do it for 30 minutes. And you'll see. You might actually come up with a different information than what I've actually said and told you. Because we are not all the same, right? You might actually come up with a different understanding. But definitely I know that you're going to see something way different. And the best thing that you can do is start writing it. Put it in the book. Draw whatever pattern geometry you see, right? Exercise that. Interact with that. Then I'm telling you, you'll start to connect with real information. Not information from the books, but you are the source. Right? I made a video sometime and I said that somebody asked me, who is your source? I said that I'm the source. And I'm teaching you to be the source as well. I'm not saying stop reading books, right? We are not all the same, right? I'm not saying stop reading books. But I'm saying start being the source of information. Be the source of information, right? In order for you to understand who you are. There's so many ways for you to understand who you are. It's not only through meditation. I love meditation because where I come from, we meditate all the time. They know us as the masters of meditators. You get what I'm saying? It's within my celestial nature that I'll teach people through meditation. But I've noticed that so many people, it's hard for them to actually interact with that. So the easiest way, I can come up with different ways and laws which you can be able to guide yourself through. That when time goes on, it will be much more easy for you to start to connect with meditation. Because I'm telling you, everything that I might teach you that has nothing to do with meditation, when time goes on, you master that, it will send you right back to meditation. And it will be much more easy now for you to be able to understand how to meditate. Because meditation is essential. You need to ascend. You can't do it without meditation, right? Yes, you can be in a different timeline, different dimension, and you're going to be taught yet there's still how to meditate. It's very important. It's very important. But in order for you to go to different timelines or higher planes and dimensions, is keep your heart clean and pure. Be inside of your heart. Currently, I'm teaching you how to be inside of your heart. You do that, you follow that, and everything will come together. Everything will come together. So that's what I'm actually saying. Right, so I would actually say that maybe this, if I come up with another video, this is just an introduction, right? I want you to be the masters of information, because I'll tell you one thing, you can believe in whatever that you believe in. No, it's not a problem. But here's a sad reality, right? Here's a sad reality. When you die, you're going to be alone. And should you die without this information, you're going to come back here and reincarnate. The aim being here, telling you about these things, is for you to master yourself out of this planet to the point that you are no longer subject to birth and rebirth, reincarnation. You know very well that when you've ascended high, all of your ancestors and your bloodline within the family, this will serve as a memory to them that when they reincarnate, they're going to do the very same thing that you were doing. This is how we break generational curses. You get what I'm saying? By not repeating the very same pattern. That will not actually make your bloodline or family members to actually finally ascend. But if you become the first one to ascend, then all of them will actually follow, because now you've lived and left them a memory for them to actually walk onto and follow the pattern. That's what you're creating. That is why most of the time you find out that everybody within the family, you're the only one that's different. It is for a reason. And should you fail, you have failed your family members in your bloodline. And when I talk about your bloodline, I'm talking about your ancestors that have been trapped here inside of this planet, and they're being expressed and showing the trapment inside of your DNA signature. But when you start to ascend and be vibrating high like that, then all of your ancestors, when they come back here, they're going to do the very same thing. Then they will be on the other side like you have to, in order for them to project themselves in a different reality of a dimension. So that is why you're doing this thing. And it is beyond. It's not the basics. Ascending is supreme. I'm telling you. You start to interact with ancestors that have never lived here, but want to see you ascend in order for you to take the ancestors that have been doing the very same mistake for like millions and millions of years to finally get there where they belong. Then they start to actually get the hang of this, right? And when your ancestors that have been living here, they start to connect with the Hall of Fame of the rest of the ancestors, that when connected, they make up the one higher self, which is the God inside of you. Collective is a consciousness, right? Collective is a consciousness. You see, all of the right that's happening, the noise, that is the system. That is this. They don't want me to make this video for you guys. That is the system. When we talk about you are going through war, we're talking about such noise outside that can be destructive. But anyway, I'm about to finish this video. I'm wrapping it down. So the last thing I wanted to say is, the moment you go to a deeper state of your higher self, mind, and your heart, right? There comes a time whereby you'll start to see the ancestors that I'm talking, the ancestors, the whole of ancestors I'm talking about. And when you start to see these ancestors, that's when now you realize that you've actually unlocked them. Now you're closer to them. And I'm telling you, once you become on that level, everything is okay. They will be able to guide you through. Once you get closer to such ancestors, they'll be able to guide you through the process of what is it next you have to do. And you'll start to connect with these timelines that are around you, right? You'll start to connect with these timelines that are around you. Then all information will come to you, because that's the aim. Activating the Hall of Fame ancestors, right? I've reached the limit of this video. I love you so much. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you share this video. So many people could be looking for it, and you could be the person that can help them connect to this information. Love and cosmic light.